Hey guys, Cheri from The Watering Mouth here, doing another video on what I eat in a day to lose weight. So follow me into the kitchen, I'll show you what's going on. I'm going to be doing another set of recipes for you that are all based on the Nutritarian Eat to Live diet by Dr. Joel Fuhrman, which comes from the book Eat to Live. It's basically for our longevity, for our health, for disease prevention, and making sure that we're the healthiest we can be. So whenever we decide to do a diet, the diet should be based on how it supports our health. Can we be our healthiest self and live our longest life based on that? I'm sure there's going to be a ton of talking in this video like in all my other videos. So if you're not into talking and you just want the recipes, please check out this website right here. It's my cheat sheet. All the cheat sheets I've ever done for previous videos with all the recipes. So if you just want the recipes, sign up at thewateringmouth.com/cheat sheet and you'll be able to access all of the previous PDFs as well. Okay guys, so for the first recipe, I'm making a Nutritarian green acai bowl. This is similar to the recipe that I make as a smoothie every day, but I'm adding acai. So if you guys haven't heard of acai before, it's like one of those fancy superfoods that you know, everyone is talking about nowadays. I found some at Trader Joe's. I got an organic kind. So usually, like, you don't find acai just in the grocery store. You would find it in pre-frozen packets. I mean, that's not really like a food that's found here in the US, so you kind of have to buy those packets. Now, it's not super cheap, so I want to make a note about that because as we're talking about having really high nutrient foods, having things like this is great, but like, you don't need to do this kind of stuff, right? I'm just doing it because acai bowls are super trendy, and I want to show you how you can make a Nutritarian one. I want you guys to consider the idea that berries are just as much of a, you know, regular berries, blueberries, strawberries, that kind of stuff. Those are just as much of a superfood as this kind of stuff is. It just has different stuff in it. So if we can sort of get away from this idea of needing these very fancy superfoods and understand that the foods that are at your produce store right now, those are superfoods too, okay? So if you can't get this acai, don't worry about it. Just have more of the berries that I'm putting in this. I'm gonna start with dates like I always do. Now, why is an acai bowl something that's not Nutritarian already? Like, why do I have to make this recipe? Because acai bowls are typically, if you get them in, you know, restaurants or in these like juice smoothie shop kind of places, they're always gonna sweeten it. Now, since we don't use refined sweeteners like maple syrup or honey or agave or anything like that, we always use whole foods to sweeten things. So this means we still get really good sweet flavor, but we're just not using things that don't come with fiber. I'm going to put in my greens then. In my last video, it was very controversial that I didn't wash my romaine, and I'm going to not wash my romaine again because this, as you can tell, this is the inside of the heart of romaine, and this part just doesn't really get that dirty. I'm not worried about it. What I usually do is just pick through and look a bit, and everything's fine, so I'm just gonna rip this off and put it in here, right? So this is about probably 3 cups of greens here, and you could use spinach, you could use romaine, you could use any other kind of green that you want. We are not trying to be perfect on this lifestyle, we're trying to eat the food. So we're gonna add a cup of water, or a cup of almond milk here, and this is the unsweetened original, so no sweeteners in there. You can use any brand that you want or make your own at home. Then I always blend up these 3 things first to get the dates blended. Okay, now a note on this blender. This is a Vitamix blender, guys. It's the 5200 model. In fact, this is not the one I had for my whole journey. I bought a new one just a couple months ago because I love it so much, because I want to give it my old one to my brother, which is what I'm doing. So never had any problems with it. Used it 1 to 3 times per day for the last 5 years. Blended up stuff that was very difficult like this, and this is why Vitamix are worth it. So I just want to make that little note because I know they're expensive, but for this type of a lifestyle, please consider investing when you get the chance, because it has changed everything for me. Now, if you're making this in a regular blender, you know, you just have a $40, $50, $60 blender, whatever, even a $100 blender, you would want to either soak the dates overnight, maybe in that almond milk or just in some water, or you would want to microwave them in 1 or 2 tablespoons of water for about 15-20 seconds to soften them before you put them in your smoothie. Otherwise, they won't get blended very well. And I'm telling you, the difference between a blended date in a regular blender and in a Vitamix is worlds of difference. It's just like using agave nectar or honey or something in a Vitamix, whereas in a regular blender you kind of still get a little bit of chunks and it's not as sweet. So something to consider. That's why I think it's really important. So we've gotten that base done now. It's always important to add greens into your smoothies whenever you can, because and just always make it a rule for yourself, because you might as well. You can never taste spinach in a smoothie, so always have spinach in whatever you're making, because then you can just add some more greens, and this lifestyle is all about extra nutrients. So we're gonna add a cup of frozen mixed berries. We're gonna add the smoothie packet, or the acai packet here. So I just cut the top of that, and I'm gonna just squeeze it in. And then I'm gonna add cherries. So I always add frozen cherries to smoothies because I find them to be very sweet, you know, as long as you don't get the sour ones. You could also put banana in here or anything like that, but I didn't want to put any banana today. So you can change up anything, the greens, you can change up the fruits, whatever. You don't have to use acai, you know. While I'm at it, I'm just gonna add 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, which I always have on hand. I have 1 tablespoon of this every single day, because it is so good for anti-cancer properties for the omega-3. So let's blend this, see what happens. Okay, I have this bowl. I think it's actually gonna be a little too small, but we'll see. You get just enough sweetness there from the acai and the date. What I'm gonna do now is add my toppings, and that's really what kind of makes it super fun. So I'm gonna add a bunch of Nutritarian toppings here. Here's my smoothie bowl base. Just for size comparison, this is a tablespoon. And so this is a pretty big bowl, plus I have some left in the Vitamix, so I could make a bigger one even. So I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons of unsweetened coconut flakes. We always want to make sure everything is unsweetened when we use stuff. And then we've got some rolled oats. I like to use them just raw. I'm just gonna put 2 tablespoons on there. Raw oatmeal is totally fine to eat, so don't worry about that. 1 teaspoon of chia seed, a tablespoon of cacao nibs, and that's what this looks like. Basically chocolate, and there's no sweetness whatsoever, but you're eating them with something that's sweet. They give a little bit of that chocolate kick, and then the texture of sort of having a chocolate chip, which is super, super nice. Then I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of goji berries. Now, let me just mention, I'm using goji berries because they're a beautiful color, but they are expensive, so do not think that you have to find goji berries and acai and eat this stuff in order to like lose weight, and this is the only way you can do it, whatever. Everything in this that wasn't a fancy superfood is also a superfood. Romaine is a superfood, oatmeal is a superfood. All these foods are gonna help us get on our healthiest path. So look how beautiful this is. What I'm gonna do when I go to eat this is I'm gonna mix everything in and let it sit for a little bit so the chia seeds will soak up some of the liquid, and so will the oatmeal. And this is just such a yummy, yummy breakfast to have, and it's a really good way to get in lots of really wonderful stuff, and also some greens too, so you can have a little salad for breakfast. Okay, so that's it for breakfast. Now consider, if you're just starting out, say you eat this amount of food and you're still hungry, you got more in the Vitamix to be able to eat the rest, so use a bigger bowl if you need to. But one thing that I like to do in the beginning when I'm trying to lose weight and I'm trying to come off of eating crappy, you know, in the very beginning when I was like this, I had to tell myself as I'm eating the meal, this is a meal. This is a full meal. The amount of food here is a full meal, and this is going to satisfy me. I would just tell myself, you're gonna be okay. And a lot of us have, I've done videos on this before, fear of hunger, right? We're afraid of getting hungry too quickly because we feel shaky and we feel irritable and we feel like out of control when we're hungry. So we worry about getting hungry before the next meal. So just try to do everything you can to, while you're eating it, just say, this is enough food. If I get hungry, that's okay. Getting hungry is okay. The more we eat of this food, I'm telling you, this is a major tenet of Eat to Live, Nutritarian lifestyle. The more you eat of this food, the more that toxic sort of hangry, irritable, shaky feeling goes away with your hunger. I promise you this happens. My brother just started Eat to Live 4.5 months ago. If you see any of my old videos, he was in the one where I went to Michigan for my 4th of July trip. We were just on the phone 2 nights ago, and he tells me that he no longer has toxic hunger. He has true hunger, which is comfortable. You can deal with it. You can learn about it more in Eat to Live, but it's something that you no longer will have that fear of hunger anymore because it doesn't feel so uncomfortable, okay? That's just a little side note. If you are used to having bigger breakfasts than this, or it feels like maybe you need something bulkier like meat or, you know, something like that, or eggs or something, you don't. You're getting plenty of protein from all of these foods that I'm gonna be showing you for this day's meals. Just keep trying and just keep going. So I'm taking a second to eat my breakfast that I just made, and I mixed it all up so I could sit down and have a little break here and eat my breakfast before I show you guys the next recipe. I wanted to just mention how fun this is because it's like eating ice cream for breakfast, you guys. And it's got all these really yummy things mixed into it, and it's like dessert soup, basically. All right, see you soon. And we're back for lunch and dinner actually at the same time. I'm gonna make these meals at the same time. This is something I typically do because when you're chopping celery for one meal and for another one, you might as well just, you know, do it all at the same time. So what we are having today is a Nutritarian Buddha bowl salad. This is probably the salad that I eat the most. So last time I showed you guys a hot and cold salad, I love those, but now I'm back into my Buddha bowl salad, so check this out. And then at the same time, I'm gonna be making a fridge cleaner soup because I'm actually getting pretty low on stuff in my fridge. For me, this is not a lot at all. So I'll show you how easy it is. Let's go. Okay, so when I make these Nutritarian Buddha bowls, it's such a massive amount of food. It's the same amount of food as you guys saw in the last salad. I get so full. These are all super low calorie foods, tons of nutrients, tons of nutrition, tons of fiber, plenty of calories, plenty of protein. If I was gonna actually have these meals for a day in order to lose weight, I wouldn't even really want the soup so much at the end, but I'm just showing it to you so you guys have the recipe. But if you do get hungry in the evening, you can totally have a cup or two of this soup and still lose weight. You know, surprisingly still lose weight with a massive amount of food that this all is going to be in one day. So if you kind of put it all together into a pile, all the things I'm gonna be putting into my belly just for today, you're gonna end up with, you know, this massive pile of food. And you can see why it's easier to lose weight because everything is so low calorie and you're still getting all the nutrition that you need. So your body naturally gets to, you know, a nice happy weight that it's happy at, and that fuels all the processes that you need to be healthy and to become healthy in the future. So just as I made the other salad before, I'm gonna start off with a base of greens. It's always 5 to 6 cups of greens, always. That's what we start off with. I typically, personally, will start with green leaf or red leaf lettuce because that is my favorite. It's super mild. You know, you can't taste it a lot, and I just love the texture of it as well. I just used it all up yesterday and I don't have any more, so I'm gonna use romaine today. Whenever I make a salad, I will typically wash the greens, especially if I'm using the outer leaves. Sorry, when I make these videos, my kitchen is like disaster zone. Whenever I make a smoothie or whenever I make a salad, I'll usually use about 8 to 10 large leaves of whatever I'm using. Start off with a nice mild lettuce like this, either romaine, or you could start off with spinach, or you could start off with green leaf lettuce or whatever you like. I throw it in my salad spinner. This is my favorite one. I used to have one from IKEA that was kind of crappy, and this one I'm just in love with. It's OXO and it's really big. Take the lettuce and I just break it up into the salad spinner like this, real quick and dirty, so it's nice and big. I fill the spinner itself with water, this whole thing, because then I'm not using my whole sink. And I just start kind of washing it like this. I just pick it up, drain this, and then I'll run this one more time under the water just to get the dirty water off of it, and that's how I wash. I've heard that salt water is actually the best thing to wash fruits and vegetables in, but I just don't have time for that. So this is how I wash my greens. And there, I'm done. Throw it onto this big cutting board. I love this knife the most for chopping things for salads, like tomatoes especially, and red peppers, because it really gets through that skin so much better than a metal knife. In the document that I'm giving you guys, the cheat sheet that has the recipes for all of these meals, I'm gonna put links for everything I talk about in there. So then I just throw my base in, this romaine here. Salads always start off like this for me. Remember that this bowl here is a 2-quart serving bowl. You know, when we have salads, we don't want to have these tiny little dinky salads that end up making us feel like we're on a diet and like we're gonna be hungry in a half an hour. That's no good. That's not what we're looking for. We wanna be full with a salad. We wanna feel like, wow, I ate a lot, you know? So we're gonna start off with this much greens, and we're just gonna pile and pile and pile more things on until we get to a place where, cool, the whole top of the salad is full now. We have a dressing picked out. We have a little bit of nuts and seeds. We have some cooked mushrooms and some raw onions. Those are the things that we're adding on top, plus a bunch of other vegetables. And that is considered a full 100% nutrient dense Nutritarian salad, okay? So for this particular salad, we've got the romaine. We also have to add in something cruciferous, you guys. Cruciferous is super, super important. Cruciferous means the shape that the food is in. It's like shaped like a cross at the bottom, like cabbages, broccoli, things like that. But it's actually really, really highly nutritious and very powerful anti-cancer food. So we want to eat cruciferous things every day. Cabbage is part of that. So I always put something cruciferous in or on top of my salad. And today I'm going to use red cabbage. I understand that this is like a lot of rules, it seems like, but the more you get used to this, you just try to keep these things in your life every day, and it just becomes kind of a habit for you. And then you know you're getting in some really good nutrition. So I just sliced some cabbage and I put that on my salad right in a little pile, and that's one ingredient down. This is an oxo mandolin. I'm gonna put this in the document as well. I always use this when I'm making salads because it just makes things so easy to slice and then chop a little bit, and then it's ready to go. So I'm gonna do the same thing with my red onion, because as I said, red onion is another one of those foods that has tremendous anti-cancer benefits. So I just take a red onion and slice it up, and then I'm going to cut a little bit of it so it's just kind of smaller pieces. Now I want to say, you guys, this might look like a ton of red onion to you, and I gotta say, when I started off, I felt the same way. I was like, how does anyone eat that much raw onion? It's crazy. But now, onion tastes like apple to me. It's like super sweet and delicious, and I cannot believe how I feel about red onion now. So sure, you might have onion breath to other people, but that's what breath mints are for. Onions are for fighting cancer, so it's a good trade-off, and it's worth it to get these in your diet every day. And plus, I find that the crunch and the flavor in a salad like this really sends it over the edge for me. So, so delicious. I also like to get crunch and flavor from celery. I also did not like celery when I started this diet either, but it's one of those things that I kept putting in my salad, and after a while I just became obsessed with it. Now this isn't dirty, so I'm not gonna bother with washing it. I would usually just run it under the water. I pretty much always wash celery, but this is one of the few times I've ever had some pretty clean looking celery, so I'm just gonna get into it. I try to do things as quick as I can, you know, because when you're making this food, it's a lot of chopping. It can be like a lot of work, and you know, sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to eat already, and it just takes a few minutes to do. But once you get used to chopping and this kind of stuff, this salad really only takes me 10 or 15 minutes to make start to finish. And that is a really good amount of time to invest in a meal that especially is like so health promoting. It's hard to make a meal that takes any less time than this. You can't even get a pizza at your house that fast. Pizza delivery always takes 45 minutes, you know? So being able to just get into your fridge and make something like this super, super quick is so helpful. And you really can do it. It's a real thing. You know, I'm showing you right now, it's a real thing to be able to eat this quickly. So I'm gonna put my celery in there. And I love that crunch and that flavor. If you don't like celery, replace it with something else. It doesn't matter. So here's my salad so far. You should always add some beans to your salad. So I have some pre-cooked, these are red lentils, if you can believe it, and they look like mashed potatoes. Turn into this kind of a mashed potato consistency. And to me, they taste better than mashed potatoes, and they're just beans. They're just legumes. So this is one of my favorite things lately to sort of add in. And so I just take a big, huge dollop of it and put it on my salad as well. I'm gonna do 2 dollops because yum. Beans are an almost unlimited food on this lifestyle. I'm gonna do a little zucchini as well. Chop this into little pieces. So now my mushrooms are done, and I'm gonna just put some of this on my salad and put the rest of them away so I can eat them throughout the week. Store-bought, these are steamed beets. Chop up real quickly these tomatoes. Okay, so I'm gonna add this here. Tomatoes add a really good sauce as well, so that'll help with the whole kind of, you know, if you like dressing or whatever. And I like to just do things real simply, so I don't love to make dressing all the time. Now I'm gonna take a dollop of hummus that I have that's store-bought. I don't recommend that you get store-bought hummus actually. It's just that I had some in my fridge from something else we did. But I'm gonna use this up because it usually has oil and salt in it, and that's not a nutritarian food. There are some no oil and low sodium versions of hummus though, so see if you can find those in your store. Otherwise, just make your own. But today, I'm not gonna stress about it, and I'm just going to add some hummus. And then some lemon juice, and we are done. Romaine, red cabbage, red onion, celery, zucchini, mushrooms, hummus, lemon juice, lentils, beet, tomatoes, and now the last thing we always add to our salads is some type of nut or seed. The fat in the nuts and seeds will actually help us to absorb more of those nutrients from the greens. So very important to try to have some type of nut or seed. And that's lunch is served. All right, now I'm going, since I have everything out in a complete mess fashion in my kitchen, I'm gonna go ahead and make this soup too. Soup is only gonna take me 15 minutes as well. This is a lot of cooking today. It definitely is. I'm not gonna say it's not, but as I'm going, I wouldn't be doing all this in one day necessarily, because as I'm going, I'm doing one or two little things per day. Like the salad only takes 15 minutes to make, the acai bowl only takes 15 minutes to make. But making a soup, making the mushrooms, making a bunch of other things, I wouldn't necessarily do that all in one day. So I want to show you what it's like in my fridge. Usually when I go to make a salad, I usually have a pile of stuff like this. So here you see the lentils already prepared, an onion that's ready to just be sliced, the beets that are already open and ready to be sliced. This is some cauliflower that I roasted yesterday, mushrooms that I made today. All of these things are ready to go. So when I go to make a salad, all I do is make the green part of the salad, put that in the bowl. Then I grab all these things out of the fridge, chop them up, throw them on the salad, and that's it, you guys. It really is a lot easier than I think some people make it out to be. You don't have to do a bunch of, 6 hours of prep on a Sunday or something. Just do one thing once a day, and by the time the week rolls around, you can make salads for 3 or 4 days or whatever, and just keep that rolling. 15-20 minutes a day max, not even every day. I don't even have to do this every day. Okay, so the soup is called a fridge cleaner soup. Now, as I said, you might not even need any of the soup for this day. You might be full just from the smoothie bowl and the salad. I probably would be, but here's what I'm gonna do, because I have some things left over in my fridge that I wanna get rid of. So now, I am taking this celery, gonna put it right into my Instant Pot, okay? Instant Pot is an electric pressure cooker. If you don't have one of these, that's okay. You can totally just make this in a regular pot, but you're gonna wanna use pre-cooked beans, okay? I'm gonna chop up the rest of this zucchini. Put all this in there. I am gonna put portobello mushrooms in because they're so meaty. Those are gonna cook down really well. I have a vase that has some water in it and the asparagus, and I cover it with one of these plastic bags you get at the store. I do the same thing with my green onions. This keeps it the freshest longest. I've had this for a while and it's still doing good. Trick for asparagus is to break it off like this instead of chopping it at the bottom. It will break naturally where there's still some really good water in it. And so where there is that freshness. And then you can go ahead and chop it. Just chopped a few carrots, gonna put those in here too. And I had a little leftover cabbage. This really is a fridge cleaner soup, and I'm gonna add this in as well. Because I am really all about flavor nowadays, I'm actually gonna juice my own carrots as the broth, as part of the broth for this soup. So I'm gonna juice those now, but I just wanted to make a note because you guys don't have to do that part. You can just get carrot juice from the store, but that's adding in a little extra time for me. When I first became a Nutritarian, I couldn't really tell the difference with freshly squeezed carrot juice or not, but now, after 5 years of doing this, it's worth it to me to take an extra 15 minutes and just juice 10 carrots for a couple of cups of carrot juice. So consider it at some point in your life that your taste buds could get so strong that you'll be able to notice the difference between freshly squeezed carrot juice or carrot juice in one of those containers. But for now, if you're just starting out, just buy a fresh carrot juice and use it that way. You can see got some good movement And that will be enough for this soup. You always want to buy no salt added tomato products because they put so much in tomato stuff. So this, put the lid on, close it, set the steam thing, and I just do, and let it go. Okay, I've been gone a while. My soup is done. Let's see what we got. Cool. Ooh, look at that yummy veggie soup. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, I got my haircut. So this soup is delicious. I think so anyways, but I imagine someone just starting out on this lifestyle would find it to be too bland. One note is really nice, the beans are cooked perfectly without having to soak or anything. Super soft and yummy. So here's the trick. Whenever I make a Nutritarian soup, no matter what, I always do what I call finishing this soup. I will have made this soup with whatever I had in my fridge. I don't follow recipes, I just put a bunch of stuff in, plus some mushrooms and some beans, and make the soup. Use whatever stock I can. Today I used homemade vegetable broth, the freshly squeezed carrot juice, and I have really good flavor there, but there's a couple things you could do. You could blend part of the soup to get a little bit of creaminess, which I think I'm gonna do with my little hand immersion blender. You could also put some of it into the Vitamix or your regular blender to blend some of it up so it'll make it a little bit creamy. How I'm gonna finish the soup today is gonna be very simple actually. All I'm gonna do is just take some tahini, because I love the flavor of tahini in soup, and some lemon juice and nutritional yeast, and that's what I'm gonna do for each portion when I make it. Nutritional yeast and lemon juice are really good substitutes for salt, as well as the tomato products that we've already put in there. So you'll get some really good flavor that way. And carrot are a naturally salty food too. So you'll find if you look at your jar of carrot juice that you get from the store, tons of sodium in it, but it's all naturally occurring. So the carrots that I juiced already and put in are gonna add some really good sodium as well. What I'm gonna do with the rest of this soup is I'm gonna take portions like 2 to 3 cup servings and just portion that out for 5 or 6 portions and put those in my fridge. I have all these leftover Thai containers, old Thai containers that I always put soup into, and I'm gonna keep those in my fridge. Then whatever's left over, I'm going to portion into 2 to 3 cup servings in quart freezer bags like this. I'm gonna freeze them flat on a cookie sheet, and then I'm gonna be able to like store them wherever I need to, these little packets wherever I need to in my freezer, and that way I always have soup. Real easy to thaw out for lunch. Then you can just do 20 to 30 minutes under warm water and it thaws out perfectly, and you just warm it up and use it like that. So I always make soups like this, very basic without the finishing touches, and then I add the finishing when I'm gonna go eat it. Depending on my sort of mood, I might use a different spice mixture like curry or something like that, turmeric, you know, lots of different things that you can do with each portion that you eat, but this is a really great basic way to start the soup, and then you can make it how you want when you go to eat it. And now you got a nice creamier version of this soup with some yummy, yummy flavor. Okay, so for weight loss, if you guys are looking for weight loss, it's the acai bowl, the big salad, and then whatever you need in the evening as far as soup. You can use that. You can even have some of the soup with your lunch or whatever. The amount of foods in here that are high calorie is pretty low, so you don't have to worry about serving size. You can eat as much as you need and you'll still end up losing weight as long as you don't have overboard on the nuts and seeds. Just keep those to like 1 or 2 tablespoons per meal and you'll be all set as far as like avocado goes, or nuts and seeds, or dates. Those are the kinds of foods that are a little bit higher calorie and we want to make sure we don't have too much of. But as long as we're not overdoing it on those, all the rest of the foods are completely no holds barred. Eat as much as you want and, you know, get full, get some good fiber, and still be able to drop some weight if you like. I hope that you like them as well. They're all very versatile, so you can put different vegetables, different beans, whatever you like, and use different flavorings. I have a video on 10 ways to flavor soup without salt, so check that one out. It also has a really good PDF that will help you with some ideas on flavorings that don't contain sodium. Also, make sure to download the recipes PDF with all the recipes from this video. That's at thewateringmouth.com/cheat sheets. All right, that's all I got for you. I know this is a long video, but I appreciate you sticking with me. Lots of hopefully good information in here for you for your plant-based journey. Subscribe to my channel wherever you're watching this. Follow me, right? You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on YouTube. This way you can get notifications of whenever I upload new videos and things like that. Also, follow me for live videos because I do some live stuff as well. Please comment below and let me know which recipe looks the best to you. I want to know what you think. Do me a favor and check me out on Patreon. It's the place where I give some exclusive content that I don't post anywhere else. You can support me a little bit, help me to make more of these videos for you, and I also give you some exclusive content that I don't post anywhere else. Things like coaching notes and tips, some extra stuff that I don't talk about in my videos that I do talk about with my clients. You can even get live time with me and lots of other stuff. So check it out when you get the chance. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!